Good morning. It's Friday the 18th of August 2023, and it's OPEX Friday as well. So there's no news today, nothing major. Oil at 1 o'clock. So let's just have a look at the trade plan for today. So we're in another downtrend. Well, we're not been in another, we're in the same downtrend. Putting in a series of higher and lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, another lower high in the pre-market, and we're down here. So you can see from the chart I'm looking at the MES, which is the hourly time frame. I am currently in a trade at the moment, the bottom of here, but I got in early there and my area really is 43.53.25. That's an area I'm watching for. I'm going to be looking for a bounce up here, a rejection up here as well, but we've had 4 red days in a row, and on the daily we are relatively far from the moving averages. So you go 4 red days down, we're quite a long way from the 8, the 20 and the 50, and obviously we've got the 200 down here. So maybe today we're going to see a bit of a bounce back up, maybe rejoin back up with the 8, and we very rarely move too far away from the 8. You can see here we pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back. We got relatively far from the 8 here, and we came back down again. So, and being OPEX as well, OPEX week, OPEX Friday, maybe today we might see a bit of a bounce, but there's a bit of unfinished business yet, because I think we will probably want to get back down. We want to keep an eye on this area here. So it's a big zone, so we could be looking for a bounce. Possibly the bounce has started right now, and I'm watching the tops of these candles, this area of demand, and I'm pretty sure if we go back further it's an area we've been on watch as well. So it's going into the hourly. Let's put some numbers in. So I've updated my chart today, added a few extra levels to keep an eye on. So I've got this area here, 43.53 all the way through to 43.40 is a big area. That's a potential bounce area. And I'm also watching for this rejection here, which is below the VWAP, below the 20. So we need a little bit of a move, probably from the open, and that'll be a higher risk rejection as well. But it's in with the trend as well. So even if we do take it with confirmation as well. So we're looking for a break of a level. Probably watch the 2 or the 5 minute before getting on that reversal. Any further down, so going back some time now. Yeah, so the top of this demand zone is based on this area of demand over here. So that's the area I'm watching. If we do break down through that, then we've potentially got this level and this area here, which is around 43.30. Oh, we're into the 4200s then, and 4300 is a psychological number as well to watch for. But let's see what today brings. For higher probability play, I think this is a higher probability bounce, and a higher probability rejection will be this area up here, 44.10 to 44.16, and then this will be a higher risk rejection and a higher risk bounce. In fact, this is more of a higher risk bounce unless we get right down to this area, 43.40 area. So that's the area we really want to watch. So I'll be keeping an eye on this area, and I really want to get in at the bottom of this zone. Let's go back into the daily. It's hard when it's so far away. One day. Makes it a bit clearer to see where we are. Yeah, so we should see a bounce off of this level, but we've got the bottom of that zone, which is the top of the bodies of these candles, and if we do break down further, we've got a big gap. Potentially we could probably reject off of that pivot there, but then if we get through, we've got this big gap as well until we get to 42.75, 42.80 area. But considering how far away we are from the moving averages, and so that's the 50, the 20 and the 8, we are due a bit of a pullback back to at least come back in line with the 8 or the 20. If you remember, a lot I've said a few weeks ago, or beginning of the week, end of last week, talked about the crossover as well here, and how generally once it crosses over, you're in that trend for at least a week. I think the minimum amount of time was a week, and it's been about a week now, over a week. So potentially, if we do see a pullback, we may see a crossover again, and it could retest the top as a double top, but that's not until next week. We're nowhere near that. Okay, let's take a look at SPY. Got some good numbers on SPY as well. So got 430, which is a psychological number down here, and realistically 432 through to 431.20 is a bounce area. So just show you where they are, where they line up on this chart. So 430, we saw we tested it there. We tested it a few times, and then the ceiling became the floor before we saw this big move up. We never did get back down to 430, but the last time we got back down to that area, we saw this big move up, so which is why I've got it on watch, and that area is 431 to 432. So that's the areas I'll be watching on SPY. And if we do get down now, I'll probably take it as MES or ES contracts. So I'll be watching for a higher probability bounce at 432. And then for rejection, we've got a higher risk rejection, which would be the pre-market lows, yesterday's low just there. That's 435.70 area, 435.68. And then we've got this area which is no longer demand, it's a supply area. We've gone through so quickly, I'm not changing colours, so that should be red. Potential rejection here, but in the pre-market we just went straight through it, so maybe it's not valid, and we can probably wait till we get back up to this area for a high risk 444. But if I had to find something in between, probably 440 to probably the 440 area, this area here is a rejection. And that's it. So higher probability bounce at 430, a good probability bounce at 431 to 432, and a higher risk rejection will be 435.70, and a higher probability rejection will be at 440. Have a quick look at SPX, because I used that yesterday quite successfully. Yesterday I took a trade on the MES based on it touching the 4400 level, and I went long, so I just called it here on this, and now today it's gone straight through it, so it's still in play. So if we get back up to the 4400 area, I've got an alert just before 4400, might be a potential short, so that would be a short on the MES or SPY. And then looking at Qs, so we've broken through this area here, which is on watch yesterday, and our next main area is probably where we are now, so potentially a bounce area, exactly where we are right now. So 355, but that's very high risk. We'll see what the opening market brings us. Let's go to daily's easy to see. Okay. So we've got this pivot here, which is the low of 357.60, is a potential, where are we now, 358, yeah, 357.60 is a higher risk bounce, but we've got the tops of these candles and it's the bottoms of these candles, so play that with confirmation as well. And then we've got 354 area also as a potential bounce area before we move into this supply zone at 348. Nasdaq is going to be very similar. I'll just quickly read out the numbers. So we've got a bounce around 14.45 and 14.65. These areas are exactly where we are right now. So 14,650. So we are potentially having that bounce as we speak. And the rejection will have to be this level. So rejection, similar to the ES at 14,800 and 14,870 area. And lastly, oil, which is one I'm keeping an eye on now. And rightly so, my levels have been pretty much spot on. You can see it's been sitting between these levels, bouncing around, came through there, bounced off of this level from yesterday. Pulled back through those levels, used this level to base itself, and it's just been sitting between and it's broken down. So potentially we've got a retest area right now, exactly where we're coming into. That's below the VWAP, below the 50, the 20 and the 8 moving average, and that will be at 79.60, exactly where we are now. It's a potential rejection area. Let's look at the 5 minute. Yeah, so you can see that it's on a bit of a downtrend in the 5 minute. So putting in, you notice I noticed with oil the volume seems to be quite high when the UK market opens at 3 AM Eastern time. So maybe it's not a bad one to play out of normal US hours. So we've broken that pivot there, and look at that, we rejected the VWAP, which is just what we just said about. So that could have been a good play. Too early for me. Next area, you've got this high area concentrated volume all around here in this top. So potential bounce off of 79.90 is an area to watch for. And we've got this natural resistance as well through this volume. And as for I meant rejection, and that's for bounces. Maybe if we put in a little shoulder here, we've got this little inverse head and shoulders pattern potentially forming. So keep an eye out for around 79.20 for a possible rejection area. And there's any more major, there's a few levels in between. In fact, that's a good level, and it happens to be exactly where we bounced it up today. And we've got this area here, and what I'm looking for, when I put these levels in, and in fact that's another brilliant area as well, and I wasn't even looking at that. I was purely looking at the tops of there, and the bottoms of here, making an area confluence, and bottoms of here, and it just happens to be these areas here as well. So that's absolutely spot on. So these levels work great. It's always worth paying attention to areas of confluence like this. And we've got the bottoms of these candles, the tops of these candles, and it happens to be, look at that, bounces off the bottom of that candle. And look at that for a rejection. If I wasn't doing a video, I probably would have taken it. But anyway, that's it really. I just want to have a look at the weekly on the MES before I go. So the weekly is interesting. We are closing, if we stay low today, we will be closing below the 20 moving average. So potentially we could just be poking through for a pullback. What we want to see on the weekly is a lower low, then a lower high, followed by another lower low. So we really want to pull back next week and break the low of this candle to continue to trend down on the weekly, maybe until we join up with a 50 moving average. We've got the 200 nearby as well. I say nearby, this is weekly candles, but we've definitely broken the 200 downtrend now. So in the downtrend, we just need to confirm it. That's our next move, to confirm the weekly downtrend, and we'll see what the next week. We might see another green candle here, maybe another green candle, and then maybe we want to look for a breakdown. So quite exciting. I look forward to today's trading, and I look forward to next week. Anyway, hopefully you have a good day trading, and I will speak to some of you today. Okay, thanks for watching. If you like this video and it helps you, please don't forget to hit the like button. Appreciate it. Thank you.